All right, all you devils out there, how's it going? Happy Friday, Friday the 13th. Here we are, about 11:28 here. Of course, we're going to look at Bitcoin. We'll take a peek at the S&P as well. I see some similar things setting up here. Now, first off, so maybe Bitcoin's not dead, right? I mean, that's what we've been reading about since the FTX debacle. Crypto's over. Well, not so fast. Well, this is kind of interesting. So I thought we'd start here. Just no Elliott, right? So I've got a daily chart here. I happen to be over on Binance. Oh, just because I wanted to clean nothing that was marked up here, and I've got some others. And of course, we'll look at an Elliott count and what I think still remains primary, but it's getting stretched a little. So we're just kind of focusing on this last section here and kind of looking. All right, we got a bonding pattern here. Does this look like enough here to launch a trend reversal from? Well, maybe not yet, but it's threatening. Now, how we're going to finish this, we'll probably have to cross that bridge when we get there, because this would be, that will be challenging here. See, I mean, at the end of the day, it would look like whatever this is, we're going to have to figure out a 3 to get her done down here. Well, you can. I mean, it's hard to keep the Elliott out here, but if this were to turn into a 1, 2, 3, which remains to be seen, but if we get 3, 4, 5 here, okay, this is going to get interesting. Now you can already see potentially, this could be an expanded B. I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But right now, it's not quite time to break out the bullhorn and blow and go. So, As it sits right here, so you can look at this here. Now, I've just framed this up, and of course, I've got Sonar Labs, their market structure or SMC indicator applied. Now, many of you guys, you all know we work closely with them, and have a special arrangement here. If you're not aware of, if you're new to the channel, and if you're not familiar with Sonar Labs, our link below is in our link bio. You'll see it, link bio. If you click that, you'll see our little discount link for any of you that might be interested. You get a 10% discount if you use our discount code, which you'll find in our link bio. Okay, well, that little promo done, right? Because we're big fans of their work, so I like to give them a little promo when I can. So that said, now, okay, so we sit here. Now, what we can do is just based off, well, let me back up. Now, based off of the swing structure, here's the last break of structure here in red. Now, I happen to have this highlighted here because I was curious where the last, in all of this mess here, where was the lowest close? Right there. That's the lowest close we got through the whole thing. And interesting, look what we hit right here, which happened to be 50% of the swing. So here, I'm going to take that off because I think we've already got it established right here. So if we were working with our market structure here, right, let's establish where we are. Well, here's the last strong swing, because that gave us the break of structure. So if we look here, we are in the, assuming the trend remains down, we are in the discount area here, because we are now, we're well over the 50%. So for a seller, if you're a seller, this is the area you want to be selling in. So, okay, well, we can look at that and say, all right, well, okay. Sure looks like a strong move here. Do we want to be selling into that? Well, you'd have to have a pretty solid technical confluence here. A lot of confluence to support that. Well, so right off the bat, as we sit here looking at this turtle head over the 618, well, I'd like to think that there's not a single person, member, free member, subscriber, who hasn't already put a golden zone on that. Well, here, I'll do it this way, right? Okay, so that's the first thing we got to recognize. Okay, so again, I've been through this for many weeks, right? So we know this is the dominant algo in the market, all markets, not just Bitcoin, not crypto, all markets, period. There's your dominant algo. And if we look back history, right, so every one of these pivots was tied to a measured move, right? Every one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, essentially all of them, right? I won't rehash that. We'll look at them here again in a second because I just have them on my next chart. So it's a bold statement to assume, okay, well, it's going to be different this time. Now, maybe it is, right? I mean, we just tagged the 65 and we're getting a little kickback there. But this is certainly threatening to make a break here, which would, at this degree, now note I'm on a daily, at this degree is going to break the sell side from this range right here. Here's the last stand for the sell side. We get up here. Well, now you're losing any sell side related to that pivot. But of course, I think we all know what comes next, right? So then we got to do it on the entire range because the algo does not give a flying you-know-what about any of this, right? All it's looking at is dominant to dominant, right? So this becomes the new swing high, this the swing low. Here we go. All right. So if this kicks and we break that 50 and we get in, now we got an order block up here, another golden zone. So there's plenty of resistance here for Bitcoin to fight through. But before we get ahead of ourselves, I mean, the first thing it's got to do is break the salsa algo that it's wrestling with right now. It means literally there's your battle, right? So bulls and bears, well, it's more likely retail and software fighting to try and break, right? So you're trying to get them on the other side of that. And then we can look at the count here. Okay, maybe, or if we zoom in there, again, this daily, right? So pretty big swings here. Okay, I can get a 5 here. It's a little... it's a little skinny, but it's there here. So we got a slight overlap here. So you're going to have to do it as a series of 3s, which is doable. It's doable. Purists, relax there. This is predominantly, there's a 5. Okay, so a little shaky on the 3. I mean, it's not as clean as you'd like for a nice clear zigzag, but I don't think you'd be arguing for a 5 there. This looks like a 5. So A, B, truncate the C. Truncate is a dirty word, but I mean, here, let's call it equal lows. Like Sonar Labs would call that equal lows here. So what's likely happening here, right? We're just getting a little rejection down here. Maybe grab a little liquidity here off of the equal lows, maybe, right? So the way it's the software is telling that the implication would be if you came down here again, you could grab some liquidity there. So, it's okay, but boom, 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 right? As the inflation data improved and risk on came, right? So boom, now we're leaving imbalances here, right? So note the fair value gap here. So lots of strength here, which makes you think, so, okay, wait a minute now. If we start to retrace, let's just, for the sake of discussion, say that this golden zone, we hold here. Not that doesn't necessarily mean we're going down to break these lows, but if it holds the resistance here, at least wins this little battle. May not win the war, but if it wins the battle here, if we start to come down, okay, what's the very first thing? I'd probably start here. Let's see. They're going to be very close. What's the first thing we're going to do? All right, well, where is the algo active between the 50 and the golden zone? So if we come down here, whoa, I got an imbalance right in the middle of it. Would make for an interesting scenario, right? If we come back down here in a 3, going to get trickier. So the Elliott is a bit elusive in here, even though I'm trying not to use it. It's almost impossible for me not to see it. Oh, and just the little 5-3 here kind of suggests, okay, maybe something's here. Now, one thing you'll note here, of course, because of how fast, right, this is the FTX debacle, right, as we leave this huge fair value gap here, so we're straight down, now coming back. I think perhaps there could be some unfilled orders in there. It's not an unreasonable thought, so perhaps draw it over, right? We're going to wrestle with that. Down, right? There was no support here. Now you can see it that's the Sonar Labs volume profile here. There's virtually nothing here because it came so fast. So you have almost no resistance here other than the algo, right? That's the only thing it has to kick. Order block up here. Now the market, well, Bitcoin can be the exception. Rarely do we just grind, right? There's almost always the temptation to take profit is overwhelming, right? So there'll be in the slightest little, I heard about that golden zone thing. People they tighten their stops. So potentially here. So one thing I've learned since really focusing on these, do not discount, do not assume a fair value gap is going to clear, that we're just going to blow right through it. Yes, I know. You can look here and go, well, who the hell is going to be there on the other side? Again, likely unfilled orders, and we know there's software sitting right there that's already short, right? They started selling, well, likely here, right? They're selling now, right? So that's, again, and when I say they, right? Software is selling. Again, just because it's selling here doesn't matter. I promise you, they don't care. If it breaks, it breaks. We care, right? So if you're a bull here and we break on the other side here, what is that's setting up the, God damn it, that's setting up the next, if we go, the next retrace, right? So now we can get a buy side again, right? So sell side gets killed, at least in this range. We break the sell side, right? So then you don't have any resistance here. Well, I shouldn't say it that way. This algo is not resisting you here. We're on the daily. It is interesting, right? First to the 50 and then to the golden zone. So both are getting tested. Now, do we roll over here? I mean, you're fighting the spread between the 618 and the 65 right there. Interesting, right? How precise it is. Well, so we can stack on a few things here as we decide. Well, what's here we're doing this way probably. So we could put that on. Here's if this is whether it's a 1 or an A, I'm going to use the lower pivot here for that confluence point. Okay, so I've got the 100 on top of the 618 as we're hitting this, right? So this for the potential, right? So, well, first thing you're checking is it long enough? Could this be a 3? Well, 100% for an ABC, pretty high probability. Well, how about some market geometry? Well, that's a crescendo of TradeDevils methodology right there, right? So we've got the algo, the measured move algo. We've got an Elliott count. We've got alternate price projection, and we've got a perfect. So what do we have here, right? So we've got our 80% being realized, right? So I've said this. I've been saying this for 5 years. That's the highest percentage trade of any technical setup there is. That's it, right? That's the number one with a bullet right there. There's nothing that gives you higher percentage probability than the median line tag, right? From the corner, right? As long as this holds, that's an 80% probability. Show me the technical setup that gives you better odds, right? Of course, right? I know the answer in advance. There isn't one. Okay, so that said, now what happens here, right? So we know this is a potential pivot. I mean, I just took you through, that's a pretty good trio right there. Does that mean, sell the heck out of it? Well, I mean, I'm a perma bull, so that would not. I mean, I might if I were day trading here. I mean, so what would be even the reason to think it? What, raging rip into this. Why would I? Fuck, are you out of your mind? Why would I sell that? Well, just think about that for a second. Would that not be what the entire retail trading community would be thinking? The percentage of retail traders that know this has just happened, I would put less than 1/2 of 1% of 1%. They don't know that's there. They don't, right? They don't spot, I'm not trying to be critical of people, right? It's just a lack of information. So there, okay, you have no excuse, right? So if you're buying that right there, well, you're living dangerously. Right? I mean, again, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying that would be a higher risk technical area to enter the market. I mean, there's only one worse place that I could put on this chart to show you to enter the market, and that would be right there. That would be. Well, this is going to be a fight as to what would be worse, right? You got a crescendo here, 3 TA components saying, well, easy on the long there, but this would match it, right? So, do you want to short it? What do you want to do there? Well, my view is here. It's so unclear here. The one thing I can say is I don't want to buy it. Now, of course, for all I know, right? Let's be real here. We could go $2,000 higher, right? We could be at 20. I mean, I'm not saying I know what's going to happen here. I'm just saying, as a trader, where our primary purpose, I mean, obviously we want to be profitable, but it's managing risk. So, why would you take such a risky trade here? I know, right? It's like, oh God, Bitcoin's back. Let's go. I mean, there's a better way to do it. So having established that, okay, well, that's likely to be a little bit of resistance. I mean, it's happening in front of your eyes as I'm talking. Now, that doesn't mean we're dropping here, but you can see the rejection there. Okay, right? It's a start on the story, but that's, page 1, right? Okay, we got there. We tagged the median line. We tagged the 65. We cleared the 100. So we're long enough for a candidate for the 3. So how would that likely have to play? Well, we're just barely long enough to call it a 3. So you know, if you were, likely you'd have to think of it this. Oh shit! How can we get this? Let's go down. Let's go down to an 8. See if there's a bull count here that we could make sense of here. All right, so you can already see the rejection as I come down to a lower time frame here. Let's clean this up a little bit. Let's get that out of here. I kind of made the points. Okay, are you thinking 1, 2? Jeez, can I even? I don't think I can get it in there. Boy, that's going to be hard to get get that into a 3. Well, mainly because it's a 5. Right, so as soon as you're looking at it, well, there's a clear 5. How can I turn that into a 3? Slow your roll a little bit, right? I mean, is that really what you want to think? Oh God, that's an absolutely gorgeous 5. Let's see if I can turn it into a 3, because I don't want it to be a 5. I want it to be a 3. Careful of that. Okay, A, B, does you have a lot of conviction there? No. But if this is a 5, that's certainly a 5 to finish, and there's a 5, and there's likely a 3. I mean, it's not an impulse, right? So you're kind of wedged into a 5. It's a little bit of just a trickle down to I mean, maybe this is a little bit of convenient. Oh, okay. Well, there's the lowest close if I'm on that here, and this is just a wick. Yeah, so I don't think you can go 1, 2, 1, 2, and that's your 3. I think you're forcing something that's not there. It would strike me that at this moment in time, this looks like a more probable ABC. Well, if that's here this is what I meant to get here. Well, here I've just added in all of the measured moves here. This was a 50, so. Let's just do them, right? So again, the only thing I'm saying is don't assume that's going to break here, because if we just look back in the history, golden zone, swing down. Now we don't get target, right? So here's you can always look on the edge here. We don't get target. So we go back up again. Right now, you wouldn't necessarily be moving this pivot here. This is the lowest low as we come back up, because we didn't get to target, right? So this is still the threat level right here. So is that a front run on the 50? It would seem, right? We've got all this wick rejection here. We don't challenge this. So now we get target. Back again, right? So again, this was also, so why would you assume it's going to break, right? You don't. Let me rephrase that. You trade them until they fail. So the better trade is, I guess, what I'm trying to get to here. What's the risk if you're selling it? Right, where's your target? Okay, so I can put up a 24 to 1 here on the sell side. Well, if you're a buyer, let's 24 to 1 as a seller, right? Risking very, very little. I'm not telling you to sell it. I'm just doing the math. Well, if you're a buyer, okay, you're going to buy it here, because it's going to break out. All right, let's use that target. Okay, where's your stop? What are you going to use? This? Oh, that's not so good. Wouldn't you want at least 2 to 1? Well, I can do it right there. So you're going to put your stop okay, maybe you could talk yourself into that. Okay, I'm going to use that prior pivot, right? So if it was resistance, we're going to come back down to it, potentially support. Okay, that's... Maybe. Okay. You can get yourself a 2.76 to 1 on the assumption we go up here and we tag this pivot. Maybe we break it. Maybe it's going to keep going here. Of those two choices here, well, you got a 2.67 to 1 because you want it to go higher, or you could do what the market is suggesting, right? Based on its historical pattern and based on, well, I mean, again, I don't know how many times I've shown that, but it's well over 10, 15,000 times over the last 4 or 5 years, right? So, well, it's going to be different this time, right? I'm not saying it couldn't break. I'm just saying, you know, why? What's the rush, right? So what's oh shit? I got to trade something, man. I'm a trader. Okay, let it break. And then look for the retrace, right? So I guess it's just a matter of style. So I'm a retracement trader. It's all I teach, right? Is retracements. Because I can't, from a lot of years of doing this, if I wanted to be a breakout trader, I could. I mean, I know how to do it. I've certainly tested it. I just, based on my experience, that's a fool's errand, right? Buying breakouts is what I don't want to say this, right? I just would. It's the wrong way to approach the market, right? You don't want to buy shit. Think of it this way, right? So when the market's going up, well, back to where we started, right? So our range here, do you want to buy it at full retail or you want to buy it at a discount? Do you want to sell it at a premium level here and buy it at a discount? I'm not trying to say that no breakout trader is successful. That's not what I'm saying, right? But it just in terms, if you had to choose, right, one style, given the volatility we see in the market, I would, if you're going to ask my opinion, I'd tell you be a retracement trader, right? So the risk profile is always going to be better. Always. I don't care what anybody tells you. The risk profile is going to be better on a retracement than a breakout. And most of the time on a breakout, you're just going to use a dollar. You're not going to use the market because the risk would be too high. So you're going to just use a random, I only risk X percent. So you're not going to use the market. You're going to use your wallet, right? And that has nothing to do. Market doesn't give a shit. Okay, so I think I made enough points here. Now we shall see what happens here. So there's really, at this moment, I certainly wouldn't buy it. It would be a very low risk sell, but it's a hard trade to take, right? Holy shit. Bitcoin's back. We're going. I think, right? Think low risk, right? Now, so then you got to think about that. Well, if you sell it and you get stopped out, God damn it, I knew this thing was going high. You got to make that deal with yourself beforehand, right? So you got to accept it. It can't be, I don't know. I saw that video. That guy was talking about this golden zone thing here. So, all right, I'm going to try the sell side. Stopped out. Well, that shit doesn't work. That's not uncommon. Oh, I got stopped out once. Screw that. Oh, the order block broke. Well, that shit doesn't work. Think carefully, right? It's all about risk control, right? Live to trade another day. That would be, I just would never. I mean, you couldn't pay me. Well, I guess you could pay me. I just wouldn't buy that, right? So, okay, so I've established that. Okay, let's get over to bring over motive wave here. Right, this is the primary here. If we come out to this, again, I'm just on a daily here. This has been kind of the primary idea for some time here. A, B, and we're doing this through this kind of extension here into this ending diag with the extension of the one. So ABC, 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 right? So we're kind of at that key point here to where everything that we needed to have happen happened. When we were down here, like, well, that's going to have to overlap that one, and we're going to have to do it in a 3. And well, if we look at the length of the 3 to the 4, well, we'd want to be looking between the 50 and the golden zone here, because there's the 2. So we're looking at the pivot high of the 2 through the 3, retracing into the 4. High probability would be the 50 to the 618. We're literally right there. Look at the RSI. Holy shit. The RSI, what did we get? On the daily, we got to 80, over 80. Okay. It can stay up there, right? We can stay down, in these big moves. It can stay pinned. But again, start stacking concepts here. I mean, would you be comfortable buying that with the daily RSI at 83? I wouldn't. I mean, it's essentially to complete this count, it's doing everything you were kind of looking for. In terms of anyone following this count, let's see, let me squeeze that back a little bit. It did everything you needed, right? It's come back all into this consolidation here. Well, we can see the channel. Yeah, you got a little gap here from the B to where we are right now, but it's right where you needed it, right in the middle of that cluster. So if it's going to come down and finish, if this is what we're going to finish, well, now you're expecting this 5 to come down and do it in another A, B, C, which puts us right down here at this target we've been talking about for quite some time here. Not the first target we had, but as we've consolidated here, this 14-ish has been just based off of what we're seeing here, right? It's not some magic formula. I'm just looking at the TA here going, well, if this is going to complete, boy, it would be the 1618, the length of the A. So if I sort of lock that back in. Okay, here we go. Okay, length of the A projected from the B, we'd be at 1618. Right here, 1618. It would be 50% from the pivot high from the from the COVID low to the one. Shit, I can't remember now. That's too much. Hang on. We have to edit that out. There we go. Here's our low, 1, 2. So that would be at 50% from, this is the 18 low, right? Here's the COVID low. So it's not the COVID low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. A, B, C would come in 1618, the length of the A. 50% from the low. You'd have, well, that 5 there. Let's get up. 5 versus the 3. You'd have a 618 here. I'm going to bring that up. That's a higher probability. So we'd have the 618 here from the 4 from the length of the 1 through the 3 pivoted from the 4. We'd be at the 618 for the 5. So you've got a massive cluster down here at 14,000. So if that's offered down here, that's an area. Pay attention. I don't know, right? For all I know, we're going to be at, up at 30,000 here by Monday. But as it sits right now, see, you got to be, what happens to us here, this is really common, right? This is trading psychology. You were through all of this. You're like, okay, well, it's got to do that, right? So all these requirements, oh shit, let's go over here. All these requirements, maybe we'll keep it over here. I got too much on this. Let's get these out of here. Kind of made that point, I think. Well, I essentially make that point every video I've ever done. Okay, so let's get everybody off here. All right, so if this is going to play this way, when we were down here going, well, if that's the 3, well, let's see, we would need an A, a B, and a C. We'd have to break that A. We'd have to break this. Pardon me. We'd have to break this one low here. If this is the 2, and this is let's draw it so you can see. If this is A, B, C. Oh, I want that a little fatter. If that's A, B, C into a 3, oh, I'm going to need an A, B, C into the 4. And then I'm going to be looking for that ABC to come down here and finish this thing. You see, now you get right here, and this is where you get cold feet. Oh, it did exactly what I needed it to do. It's in the exact spot where it's right in the golden zone at a 100% the length of the A from the B. It's at a median line. It's perfect. Oh, fuck, I can't sell that, man. It's going straight up. I promise you, there are tens of thousands of people having that thought right now. I can't, fuck, man, I can't sell that. Bitcoin's back, baby. We're going. It's game on. Again, I have no idea what any outcome would be here, but you waited for this technical pattern to establish. You waited for it to get here if you were trading this. I don't know what your count is, but I know a lot of our members here have been kind of watching this, going 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Now it's right there at the golden zone. Everything I just went through, and now you're scared to sell it. So again, what I just went through, what are you scared of? Is it mentally that, oh man, I can't take a stop? God, that just ruins my day. Well, you're in the wrong business then. You got to be able to take a stop at like it's nothing. Now, doing something stupid like, oh, I'll just give it plenty of room. That's not what I'm saying, right? Let's not be silly, right? There's no reason. First off, there's no reason to do that. Let's come back here. Why would, as we just went through this, right? All we're going to do is just a little bit over the 65, right? What a beautiful setup. So the amount of risk you're taking, you might even use 707, right? So let it get a little further into that imbalance. I'd probably use the 707. So again, as we just said, I mean, unless you're afraid of it, which, scared money never prospers, right? You can't have that kind of fear and ever be profitable. You can't do it, right? You can't be scared of it. It's scary, I know, right? You're like, holy shit. I'm not selling that. It's going straight up. That shit, we'll be breaking that pivot before you know it. There's not going to be any temptation to take profit. The market's just going to keep going straight. Listen, all you got to do is turn on Bloomberg or CNBC or any of the financial media. Oh, well, man, inflation's, I saw something on 60 Minutes. We've whipped inflation now. Whip inflation. I don't know if anybody saw that. Well, it's all over, right? So the correction's over. We whipped it. Game on, risk on, Fed's going to pause. I'm going to encourage you. Oh, shit, I should have teed this up. Actually, I'm going to pause this here. I'm going to get that. Hang on a second. All right, I'm back. I wanted to get this where I meant to tee this up. I watched this the other day. Now I have zero relationship with this guy. I don't know him. I just like his content. I like his approach because it's very grounded in historical fact, right? So if perhaps some of you follow him, his name's Mark Moss. Maybe you know this YouTube channel. I mean, he's got 450,000 subscribers. So my guess is a few people here watching are familiar with his work. This one here, this is just 2 days ago. This could be bad for stocks. Here's why. I would encourage you to watch that. It's 26 minutes long. You find a little time, watch that over the weekend before you start thinking that the S&P is just game on, right? And that was so well. We'll come back. We'll get there in a second. But as we think about, what you're reading in financial media, right? So, okay, worst behind us. We're all good. So what does the worst behind us imply? Well, that the Fed's likely to pause, right? That while we haven't whipped inflation yet, we have certainly perhaps had peak inflation, so the Fed can pause the rate cycle. Or instead of 50, 75, we're going to be doing 25, and maybe we're going to get to 5, but it's not going to happen as fast, so the market can chillax. Right? And the pause is good for stocks. Well, before you start loading up, 26 minutes. And again, it's not opinion, it's just historical data. I would encourage you to watch that. This could be bad for stocks, right? 2 days old. Again, no relationship, just quality work, right? So if I see something good that I think can plant some historical context in your mind, I'm going to refer you to it. I'd recommend subscribing as well. He does great work. Okay, so here we are back to, here we sit, right? Well, we can come over here on BitGet, right? This is our sponsor, right? So this is where we trade. That's a pretty low risk entry right there. I know it's hard. I know it's hard to do, right? So here you see we're well, as you might anticipate here, we're well outside of 2 standard deviations, given that the low volatility. We had a squeeze this whole area. This is I think I've shown this a couple of times. This is the TTM Squeeze Pro, where I've just taken the histograms off of it because all I want to see is the squeeze. So obviously all of this is a squeeze. Right? What do we know? Right? We've talked about this over the last couple of weeks. Right? From contraction comes expansion. Right? Contraction, expansion. It's what the market. It's the natural rhythm of the market. Contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion, and we expand right into a golden zone. Now, this is a sell signal, but it hasn't turned over yet. On the daily candle, that's a pretty good move there. I don't know that I'd be jumping on that here, although the one advantage of selling it right at the 65 is you have the smallest distance to your stop. So you get maximum profit potential if we're going down here to this 14 level with the minimum amount of risk, right? What isn't that the name of the game? Something to think about. All right, so how many? Oh, shit, 32. I don't know. There's a whole lot else to talk about here. I'm just kind of back into all of this, right? So some of these order blocks here will be magnets, right? So if we're going to keep going here and we break from this one, remember, if we put that all in context here, there's this one. So let me finish on this, and then we'll go to the S&P. There's this, right? As I think I started on here, but this is from the Elliott perspective. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking at this retracement from the 2 through the 3. Now, what is it we wanted? We wanted a 3-leg swing structure to get up here. Where are we looking? 50 would be kind of right in line with all of this, right? So we get that on the 50 here. So now take note here. You could very easily get stopped out on the little swing structure here that we're just looking at here based off of the 65. You could easily, right? If you can't absorb that, again, maybe Bitcoin's not the place for you to be trading. Or trade very, very small. So, I mean, if you could take that hit. Well, here's what I would not do, right? So don't take the hit here. Don't do that, right? I mean, it's still probably going to be, you're going to have to over 2 to 1 here. But why take that drawdown here? I'd much, much, much rather take that little loser here and then reevaluate. Okay, do I still like everything? Is this starting to look like maybe it's turning into something more substantial? Are we going to go 1, 2, 3? Can I dig an impulse out of this? Does it look like it's complete? If I get up here, if I get to that 50, does the internal swing structure look like I've completed an impulse here? Or does it look like I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 still to come? I wouldn't, right? It's common, right? Say, I'll just average it up. So I'll end up with a better entry position in total. Careful of that. I'd take the small one, reevaluate. Now, what happens here, right? Because really, the next one you're looking at is the 50. Because on a you could do it a couple of different ways here. So, but either one of these zones here, this is the strong high. So if we break this golden zone here, then you got to rethink it. Then perhaps it's 1, 2, we break 3 because that would be the strong high. Now you're thinking that. There. 1, 2, broke, right? That's the big break, right? From this swing. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I get that 5, hey. All right, Elliotticians are going to be back here figuring out how, and scratching their head, how we're going to finish here. Likely it's going to have to be some sort of combinations to get this to finish in a 3. But we shall see. We'll cross that bridge if we get there. We're getting way, did I say way? Way ahead of ourselves. This next up, right? Big time resistance here. Now, okay, let me finish up because the S&P is kind of doing something similar. So yet we got good CPI data. Market has rallied substantially. As I said, game on. Oh, man, you got Kramer is bull, right? Buy. Well, let's look at it, right? We looked at this last week, so no chance. The only thing that's happening is very, very similar here. And again, I'm on the dailies. All right, well, let's see. So, again, this is where you have to decide. Right? So if you're applying Elliott Wave here, whether that's foundational to your approach to the market or you have a passing knowledge of it, this would be, well, we can work backwards here. So let's just think about this. This is the last significant swing structure we have that gives us a clear 5 coming down, right? So if this is going to be our low and we've whipped inflation and off we go and it's new highs and game on and risk on, boy, working backwards as to how this is going to be our correction low. As I said, I've been through this a couple of times here. I mean, you could think diag, right? 53535. Right, with all the overlaps, it's technical, of course, right? Of course, these golden zones up here. There's a 5. Okay, well then, if that's the 5, the one thing that I think makes this, makes that dubious here is that this would be correcting that 5. It seems too small. So the length of time here, just in length of time. The length of time to complete what would be an A wave here, and we'll do the B wave here, and then we're going to go down into another 5. That doesn't fit as well to me in terms of just the time relationships of these swing structures. What does fit better to me, because I've got a clear 5 here, a clear 3 here, and a clear 5 here, right? 1, 2, 3. Oh shit! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, they're hard to not see the potential for this to be an ABC into a W, and then this X correcting this. The swing structure plays better. The length of time, even though that's, again, short relative to this 3, it's not as significantly lacking in terms of time as this to correct that 5. So then you might think, well, wait a minute. If this is a 5, maybe we're going to do something like this. Well, possible. Right, and then we'd come down for the big crescendo. Well, before any of that happens, right? We got to deal with this, right? We've got pretty big area of resistance here that is very consistent with this count structure, because WX, right? What are we anticipating? A, right? Clean 5. This plays nicely as a 3. A, B, C. There we have it. Right, into a B. We broke the golden zone from this pivot. All right, what do you, God damn it, what do you do when you break the first one? All right, we go to the second one. Let's get you out of there. Right, front run, double top. Didn't quite get there, but certainly a valid B. Right, we don't necessarily. Where does it start selling? Right in the. Those every damn time. Right here is where we start selling, where that algo starts selling. Up into the wick rejection, down we come. Now, out here on the daily, right, well, this is like, oh man, risk on, here we go. Per this count, okay, it's literally right on track. 1 golden zone into the 2, right? I got all of this over here. Now, this is what I would propose to you is on my radar, right, for what that's worth. Get that C, get that 5. Until this pivot is broken, I would be shocked to have a handful of Elliotticians give me contrary count structure. I would love to see it. If you've got this as your low, I'm dying to see how you got there. I don't think you can, right? With following rules and guidelines. I mean, you could probably force fit some things in there, but if you're allowing for the appropriate time, balance, swing structure, relationships, no way you're coming out of this bullish. You're not, right? Now so. Having said that, there's nothing that, I mean, Elliott Wave is, we try and identify patterns of human emotion here. There's nothing about Elliott Wave that's going to prevent this from doing that, right? That's not what we're trying to do, is say, well, it certainly can never do that. That's never what you're saying with Elliott Wave. You're saying based on what we can see here, the path of least resistance per this structure, the swing structure here, would suggest that we're not done yet. That's all, right? That's like, okay, well, but if it goes, well, fuck, right? Oh, okay, so we were done. Maybe, right? When are you done? When you break that high? When are we done correcting? Long way to go, right? So is it inflation over, right? And then again, right? So again, inflation's over. What does that mean? Fed pause. I take you back to watch it. Don't not watch it, because you need to know that. Right? Coming into those sessions. I mean, look, like, oh, it's right. It's hard to do it, right? Isn't it? Right. So it's the same thing. Oh, if this is going to, so it's the exact same process as a Bitcoin. Oh, there it is. Okay. I got a W. I got a 3 into an X. Oh, 5 down into the A. Oh, there's 3 into the B. Oh, that's great. So all I need now is a 5 to complete. And this pattern, I'm right on. I'm all over this, man. I've nailed this from the whole way. And then what happens? Oh, CPI was friendly. Oh, here we go. Fed's likely to pause. Oh my God, I can't sell it. And it came exactly to where you wanted it. And then you fucking don't have the balls to do it. You can't trade that way successfully over time. Just going with, oh, the market's going up, oh, I got to buy it, right? Your trading career will be over so fast if that's how you approach the market. What are the best trades? Almost always the best trades are the hardest to take. If you're a retracement trader, that's built in. It's because it's going the opposite direction right? It's got to retrace, right? So here's the pivot that matters, right? Right now. Okay, so all we're doing, we've had this move, now we're retracing it. What is it? Is it confusing what to do here? Well, we don't really have the 2 in, right? So you can't say, oh, it's going to be a 2. We don't really have it. We have a threat level, because what are we approaching? Right? There's the golden zone right there. This is actually, somebody built this indicator, and based on my work here, I don't know if it's a member, who it is, I don't know how to say that, the Sehun, the Auto Golden Zone Hunter, version 1.2, right? So I know that's, right, that 65 is my addition to David Halsey's work, so I know that's based off of my teaching. That was not something being taught before I identified it. Okay, so 1, 2, right? We're coming into the 2 here. So again, it's, oh my God, what if it, wouldn't it, maybe it'll come right into the golden zone. I can sell it right there. Maybe I can do that. Maybe I could sell it right there. And then, oh man, I can't sell. That's going straight up. Look how strong the market is. God, I just watched Bloomberg. They said put call ratio is bullish right here. So I can't buy it. I mean, pardon me, I can't sell it. We're going to the moon here. We whipped inflation. Fed's gonna pause. Go take a look historically what happens when the Fed pauses. Okay, guys, that's all I got. I probably rambled on more than you needed there. I don't know what shit. Yeah, I mean, it's encouraging, right? So if crypto, at least we're moving, at least we're not boring, right? It's like, oh my God, it was so boring for so long. It just looked like, oh my God, we're just going to flatline here for indefinitely. And then lo and behold, right? Just takes a little spark. Shorts have to cover. All of a sudden, you got some traction here. And then the pattern that we've been kind of going, fuck, is this thing ever going to move? Is it ever going to develop? Holy shit. It's got to overlap that one. Down here was like, geez, can it even get to 17.5 and overlap that one? Well, here it is right now. Again, right as I just went through. Here it is. Here it is. You waited for it. You know, if you have a plan, stick with it. All right, I'll end on that note. All right, you guys know where to find us, TradeDevils.com. We got all different levels of shit. I always do that. I always fuck up the promotion. I'm not much of a promoter. Oh, well, because I'm not trying to sell anyone. I'm just trying to tell you, if you want to learn some of this stuff, we can help you. Okay, guys, have a good weekend. We'll be back on Monday. I haven't had a lot of members, a little sparse on your participation in the options channel, so maybe we'll add in a few other things. Okay, guys, look for more content from us next week. My partner, James M., who has been posting some great content. He's just a fantastic technician. He's been giving you some updates on Ethereum here, so I hope you all catch those. If not, catch them over the weekend, and we will see you guys next week.